Hello, if you're looking for an easy weeknight dinner, then you need to try this Italian baked aubergine. The aubergine is baked until golden and soft and then stuffed with a delicious filling and finished with a creamy cashew sauce. So let's get cooking. To start the recipe, we're going to prepare the aubergine or the eggplant, and I found these wonderful looking graffiti aubergine, but you can use any variety that you can get your hand on. Simply pull back the leaves and cut off the stem, taking as little of the aubergine as possible. Then slice your aubergine in half and repeat with the other. We'll then cut a crisscross pattern through the flesh of the aubergine, being careful not to pierce through the skin. This is going to allow the seasonings to get into the aubergine and also the heat of the oven. If done correctly, you'll get a beautiful diamond pattern like so. We're also going to thinly slice a couple cloves of garlic, and they're going to go into the slices that we've just made. We'll then salt the aubergine and leave them for about 20 to 30 minutes to help remove some of the moisture and season them from within. Some say it helps to remove the bitterness, but most modern varieties of aubergine aren't particularly bitter, so if you don't have time for this, don't worry about it. Just give the aubergines a little squeeze, and this is going to help release the moisture, and then you can just sort of pat them dry and they'll be good to go. I'm going to lightly grease the baking tray and then using a pastry brush, give the aubergines a nice coating of olive oil. Then into the crevices we're going to add about 4 thin slices of garlic, and then the flavour from the garlic is going to release into the flesh of the aubergine as it bakes. Lastly, sprinkle over some dried herbs such as thyme, oregano and marjoram all over the aubergine. Also add a good crack of black pepper. We're going to bake these at 200 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes flesh side down, and then a further 15 to 20 minutes at 220 degrees flesh side up until they're beautifully golden and soft. While these bake, we're going to make the filling, which is going to be chickpeas and orzo coated in a lovely basil pesto. So we're going to start by cooking the orzo until al dente, meaning it still has a slight bite to it. Once cooked, just add a little olive oil to stop it from turning into just one big clump of pasta. Next for the pesto, add 1 clove of garlic to a pestle and mortar and bash into a paste. If you want to, you could use a shop-bought pesto to save time, or use a food processor. I love to use a pestle and mortar as I really think it extracts the flavours and the aromas of the ingredients as you bash them, whereas a blender just sort of cuts it into small little bits, not releasing all those essential oils. I'm using basil here, but you can use other greens such as parsley, chives, rocket, or spinach is a good one for bulking it out. Once you've got a nice green paste, we can add in the cashews or another nut of your choice. Pine nuts are very traditional but are typically quite expensive, and we're just going to bash them into a rough sort of sand texture. Then I'm adding in the juice of half a lemon, nutritional yeast, a good grinding of black pepper, and then a few tablespoons of olive oil. You could use a mix of olive oil and a cheaper oil such as sunflower or rapeseed. Season to taste, and there you have a delicious basil pesto ready for the aubergine filling. Before we mix this pesto with the orzo and the chickpeas, I'm going to make a quick sun-dried tomato and cashew sauce to drizzle over the baked aubergines. Into a blender, add the soaked cashews. The longer they've been soaked for, the easier they're going to blend. Then add some water, nutritional yeast, those beautiful sun-dried tomatoes, and about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice to really brighten it up. You may need to add a little more water or lemon juice here while it's blending. We're looking for a thick cream-like texture as we want it to sit on the aubergine and almost start to caramelize as we bake them for the second time. Mine was pretty thick, so I did have to get a spatula out to assist. Now to assemble the filling, which is really simple. Just add some drained and rinsed chickpeas to a bowl, and we're going to lightly crush them with a fork. Then we'll add in the orzo and that beautiful green pesto, and we're just going to give it a good mix to combine it all. You could just make this mix with chickpeas, but I really like to add in the orzo for some extra carbs, and who doesn't like pasta, so they're going in. The aubergines are now lovely and golden and soft, and I'm going to remove some of the inner part, making sure not to take too much, as we want them to have a nice bit of body so that they don't fall apart when we fill them. You can then add this aubergine to the chickpea and pasta mix and stir it through. Now for the fun part, we're going to load up the aubergine boats with the filling, and you can be generous here, you don't want to hold back. This is a great dish for when you're entertaining friends and family, as you can get everything ready in advance and then just bake it when you need it. Now we can drizzle on the cashew cream. I did it with a spoon at first and then quickly decided to get it into a squeezy bottle. Not gonna lie, it did start to look a little bit retro with all these colours going on, but I think it looks pretty fun. Finally, sprinkle over a few breadcrumbs and then we're going to get it back into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the breadcrumbs are lightly golden. And there you have the final dish. You can serve them as they are or with a nice fresh salad. Yum. I really used to hate aubergine, but once you cook it properly, it's caramelized, it's soft, and it's been seasoned properly. It really is delicious. And then you've got that fragrant basil pesto going through the chickpeas and the orzo, and then you've got a really nice crispy topping. The cashew cream's actually gone nice and like caramelized and crispy, almost like a pizza. Really delicious. If you need some more easy dinner ideas, then check out this video.